Hey everyone, it is the new year. Welcome to 2025, this long break that we are on here for the Christmas and obviously the new year. This has been a long one, and a lot of teams haven't played in almost 2 weeks. We're getting back to basketball this weekend with the Slam Dunk starting on Friday. Here is the schedule. Triple header on Friday afternoon. All games will be on LocalLive. And of course, the 6 games on Saturday also being streamed on LocalLive. Tickets are selling out fast. Hopefully you are at the box office, at the county center, getting them right now, or you have them ready in hand, as I told you should have a couple days ago. I've been watching a lot of games on LocalLive, especially the last couple weeks, sort of catching up. I feel really good about kind of like where teams are, who teams are, where teams are going to be late in the season, and I want to give you my predictions for the rest of the season. Standing on right now, the show being recorded on January 2nd, 2025. Our class-by-class previews for boys basketball. We start in Class AAA, and we're going to do a little bit of a theme here. So we're going to pick a favorite. We're going to pick a team to watch out for, a deep sleeper, team that can make a run late in the season, and then I'll make my predictions for championships. So starting Class AAA, I think right now the team to beat is still Mount Vernon. Yes, they lost a game. They lost to Arlington a couple weeks ago on the road in Dutchess County. A game they were winning by double digits in the third quarter. Press came on for Arlington. They lose the game. Mount Vernon, I don't think it's really too much to worry about, especially the way they've played of late. And Kai Harvey and Tavian Tyler have been terrific in this backcourt, and we're seeing the growth of the front court of this team. And really, if this team continues to grow the way they have, I mean, look what they did. They beat St. Joe's of New Jersey in a tournament out of St. Dominic's this past weekend, beat Hill House out of Connecticut, another powerhouse team, and they did it, you know, with their combo of guards. And Tavian Tyler goes for 48 points in those 2 games. He has been terrific. He has really kind of solidified himself. And Mount Vernon, you saw what they did late in the season. They're kind of doing it now, middle of the season. Interesting what they have ahead of them, obviously, from a schedule perspective. My team to watch out for, I'm going to say it's Suffern, just simply because of the schedule, the way the schedule is going to set up for them. I think they're going to win a lot of games. I think in the Rockland League, they have a chance to kind of, maybe, I don't want to say run the table, but they have a chance to win 15, 16 games. Lost a couple so far, but to me, this team coming up from Class AA, Jake Pampolina, Jeff Joseph, very veteran team, guys who know how to get to the county center, win, made it to that championship game last year, lost to Peekskill in the Heartbreaker, and now in AAA, but still a dangerous team moving forward. My deep sleeper in Class AAA, it's got to be Spring Valley. I don't think people totally saw this coming. Obviously, Willie Worsley, legendary coach, steps down before this season. Joe Parinello comes over, takes over as the head coach. He thought there'd be maybe some transition time. They're 3-1. They look really good. They've gone out. They've only lost to Mamaroneck. Mamaroneck's 9-0. They played Mamaroneck really tough. It was a close game to the fourth quarter. Parinello's done a great job in terms of just kind of taking this young group, which had experience, and getting them playing well. You know, you look at what they did in the NIAC tournament, winning the NIAC tournament. Anthony Mack has played really well. Brandon Frazier, and of course, Josiah Bichon, who's going to close in at 1,000 career points soon for the Spring Valley team. They're dangerous. I think Spring Valley is very much in the conversation in Class AAA. As we now, let me take a look at who my top 4 teams are. I think, you know, the top 4 teams and the 4 teams I think are going to make it to the county center are 2 very different things because of the way, if you ask me what my top 4 teams are right now, it's Mount Vernon, it's New Rochelle, it's Mamaroneck, it's Scarsdale. The problem is all 4 of them really can't, there's no pathway mathematically for all 4 of them to get to the county center unless they sort of end up on different sides of the bracket, which is very hard to predict because they're all in the same league. They're all going to play each other twice. They're all probably going to win some games, lose some games, and somebody is going to get knocked down the row. It could be New Rochelle, it could be Scarsdale, but somebody's going to be, whoever wins the league is going to be the number 1 seed. I think it's going to be Mount Vernon. Mamaroneck's won a lot of games. They're going to be in that 2, 3, maybe 4, number 4 mix. The team that loses the second most games in that is going to be Scarsdale or New Rochelle, probably going to be a 4 or 5 seed also. And then one of them is going to drop down to 7 or 8. It's always the way it works out mathematically because you have Arlington's going to win a lot of games in Class AAA, and they're going to be a top 2 or 3 seed. I think Suffern's going to win a lot of games. They're going to be a top 2 or 3 seed. And then it's kind of everybody kind of jockeying after that. So it is very different. So if you ask me if 4 teams are going to make it to the county center, I think you're going to see Mount Vernon. I like Mamaroneck. I think Mamaroneck's going to get 2 home games into the Section 1 AAA playoffs. I think Suffern's going to get there. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to say Scarsdale goes there. But I think Scarsdale will have to go on the road and win a playoff game to get to the county center. Those are my 4 teams. Who am I picking to win the championship? I'm still going to go Mount Vernon. You can't pick against Mount Vernon right now. In that big county center floor, though, the team that's going to give them the biggest challenge is going to be Scarsdale. And I think when you look at the talent that the Scarsdale team has, I think they're going to look to make up for what happened last year, not even making to the Final Four. I think Scarsdale is Mount Vernon's biggest threat, but I do think the Knights win. We go down to Class AA. So who's a favorite in Class AA? It's TZ, and it's also Rye. I can't pick right now off the top of my head, who I'd say is a favorite because they're both going to win a lot of games, and both teams, veteran teams, returning a lot of players, a lot of quality talent, depth, all the things that make TZ great are all the same things that make Rye great. They have really no star, but they have a lot of guys who could put the ball in the basket. They play good team defense. They're very physical. They're very tough. And, they've got a lot of hunger right now because TZ, last year, obviously, they win the state championship 2 years ago. They don't even make it to the Final Four last year in Class A. They get moved up to AA this year by enrollment. Same thing happens to Rye. They make it to the Class A championship, lose a heartbreaker to Byram Hills, bring back pretty much everybody from that team, and now are in Class AA. These two teams, I feel like, are on a true collision course right now in Section 1. In AA. The team to watch out for to me is Eastchester. And, when you look at Bochenski and Rowland, that duo. So to think about Class AA and really what it used to be Class A is that if you have two guys that can really score the basketball, you're going to compete and you're going to go far. And Eastchester has two guys right there. They're going to be our scoring leaders on GameDay One all season long. That makes Eastchester a very dangerous team. The key is going to be how many league games they win because obviously they're in a league with Rye, Byram Hills, Harrison. But Eastchester to me is a team like last year, the team that's going to be lurking, that's going to be dangerous once we get to the postseason. My deep sleeper is Harrison, and the reason being is that they have probably, one of the things you said about in football season was that they weren't deep enough, right, to compete in Class A. In a lot of those football players are now making the transition to basketball, a lot of the same names, and in basketball that makes enough depth. And so they have a true basketball standout scorer in Matt McCoy, and then they got about 6 or 7 just pure athletes, including a couple of their linemen from football who are going to be occupying some space in the paint, and they're going to make Harrison a very dangerous team. Harrison is going to be the team that nobody wants to play come the postseason, no matter where their seed is. They honestly could be a 4 seed, and they could be a 12 seed. It wouldn't surprise me, but they'd also be a team that you don't want to face in the playoffs. My Final Four in Class AA, I'm going to go TZ and Rye. I think they're going to end up on opposite sides of the bracket. I think Horace Greeley is going to win a lot of games, so they're going to be a top 2 or 3 seed as well. So I think they're going to make the county center. And my other team is going to be Yorktown because, again, I think that's another team that's going to win a lot of basketball games. And Kaden Gonzalez is a terrific player. Yorktown's a very dangerous team. So who's going to win right now as I stand here on the early week of January of 2025? I'm never betting against TZ in a big game. I just can't. I went to the practice recently, and I just saw what this team has. Jack Pachoin is just a terrific leader. They're going to get back Tommy Linehan. Lavelle, Isaiah, and Xavier Lavelle are just terrific players. And then they've got so many guys all around that just buy into what this TZ team does. I think there's a lot of motivation for this team after what happened last year. And they want to go back and compete for another state championship. So I take TZ right now in Class AA. Go to Class A. This is going to get easier because Byram Hills is just on another level. I watched them a few times this season, including once in person. I just can't believe how big, how physical, how strong they are, and just how well they defend. And, it's hard to say that a team that loses a first-team All-County player in Tyson Ripa, as Byram Hills did last year, and say they're better this year. They're just a different team, and they're lacking probably right now. Ripa brought great leadership to the team. I was a point guard, as a scoring point guard, but some of the guys around him from last year are just getting better. Chris Amanendo's getting better. Zach Afobe is still a dominant force inside, but we're seeing the other players in this team. Brody Seisler, he's made a humongous jump. Obviously, he missed last year because of injury. He's made a huge jump from last year. He is a true difference maker on this team. And if they just continue to develop the way you expect, they were the best team in December that I think I saw outside of Class AAA. They were just phenomenal. So Byram Hills right now is the team to beat. Pearl River, a team that Byram Hills beat by 30, I think is still right there. They're still the team to watch out for. I just feel like they just are every single year, not only in the mix, but they're a team that just gets better and better as the year goes on. They're going to do what they do defensively, and they're going to win a lot of games, I think, in their league, and so they're going to get some home games, and they have a nice path to get to the county center in Class A. Another team, the team that thinks a deep sleeper, I've seen Ardsley, right? So Ardsley football, obviously, if you follow football, they had a below 500 regular season. They go win the section championship. There's not many of the same players. There's some same athletes, but there's the same mindset, and they're a team that's going to play a difficult schedule, and they sort of just kind of had their ups and their downs, even so far in the first month of the season, and I think they're going to be a better team for it as the year goes on. So right now, they're probably not one of the top 4 teams, but there's a chance they can by the end of the season, they're going to be able to upset anybody. So I like Ardsley as a team as my deep sleeper in Class A. If I'm going to pick 4 teams to make it to the county center, Byram Hills, Pearl River, Nanuet is, Nanuet has their moments. We watch them and you're just like, wow, look at this team. They beat Rye. They beat Rye at home. So, and Nanuet. So Nanuet's a team that just, I would never count out. They're going to have a tough pathway to get there because of the fact that their league's going to challenge them. Their record might not be as reflective of good of a team they are in Class A because they play a lot of AA teams. But Nanuet's still a threat. I think they're going to be the 3rd team. And then give me Obama. It's a great story. Sean Stahn, the head coach, he's kind of nurtured this group. Now they're here, a lot of juniors and seniors, and great balance. They have probably as much depth as any team in the class. I think that Obama is going to make a run, and I want to see a Yonkers school in Class A make it to the Final Four. Who's winning? I can't pick against Byram Hills. I was so impressed with how they played. The only thing that can really stop Byram Hills, to me, in March is going to be Byram Hills. If something happens, injuries or whatever, but they are just they're on a path right now, and they're impressive to watch. In Class B, Woodlands, defending Section 1 champions, they've been great. They obviously had a hiccup. They lose to Blindbrook on the road, a really tough game. But Jamison Stevens and, this group that they have, they've just continued to get better. Aaron Woodbury is going to keep getting better. I just feel like Woodlands is still the team to beat, even with the blemish on their record. The Falcons trying to go back-to-back in Class B. Team to watch out for, Anthony Ficarata is so impressive for Dobbs Ferry, and he kind of makes them, puts them in contention to win a gold ball by himself. He can't win it by himself, but he alone, his presence, because no one's going to be able to stop him when he gets going. If he has those big games, they could beat any team. And we watched him beat Clarkstown South in double overtime, and he is just such a polished, well-rounded player, and so impressive. Dobbs Ferry is sort of the team to watch out for. And then the deep sleeper, another team that I watched Briarcliff lose to Hackley, a couple before the break, in an event at the county center, and I just thought to myself, man, if Briarcliff could just make a couple shots, they might actually beat this Hackley team, which Hackley is extremely underrated for a team that we don't really talk too much about because they're in the independent. But Briarcliff is going to keep getting better. I think Connor McGinnis has a plan with this team, and Briarcliff is a group that's veteran, and they might make a run once you get to into the late in the postseason. My Final Four teams, I'm going to go Woodlands, Dobbs, Blindbrook. If you can't stop Tyler Terstein on Blindbrook, you're going to have a hard time beating the Trojans. And obviously with new coach John Aguilar, he's really kind of made his impression on this program quickly. And Blindbrook's going to be a team that's going to win a lot of games, I think, in their league. And so they're going to make a run to a top 4 seed and have a chance to go to the county center. And then the 4th team is tough because there really isn't. You can make a case for about 5 teams to be the 4th team. I think LaFell, Haldane, those 2 teams, I feel like it's going to be one of those 2 teams. I'll take LaFell. I think LaFell is also in a position to win some basketball games, and they might get a good seed. And I just think Russell Wexler, he's kind of carried that team throughout last season, get into the county center, get into the Class C championship. Now they're in Class B. I feel like LaFell could be a very dangerous team now going into the second half of the season. And then in Class C, Tuckahoe, clear favorites. There's only 4 teams in the conference, so I think Tuckahoe will be your Class C champions. And I think Woodlands win Class B. So that is a mouthful from me here on New Year's Day. But excited for the slam dunk, excited to get basketball season going full effect. It is an avalanche of games once we get through the start here on Friday at the slam dunk. So it's a very exciting time, and want to hear from you soon. Thanks.